Hello, I'd like to talk to you about the requirements of the Global Action Domain of Sewickley Academy's Global Studies program. There are 200 points required for the Global Action Domain, which means that there are approximately 67 hours required for the global certificate. You receive 3 points for every 1 hour of service. How will these hours be accumulated? Well, rather than the global studies advisors and faculty telling you what you'll be doing, we would like you to use your creativity, motivation, and initiative to identify things that are important to you and to take action on those global issues that are most meaningful to you. So what we want you to look for, and what we're going to try to introduce you to some of those ideas today, is service that aligns with the mission of the school, so service for the greater good, and service that is action oriented, and also service that is global in nature. So we're going to give you a lot of examples, and we'll also show you a non-example, so something that is service and action oriented, but something that's not global in nature, so you can see something that might not fit. And we really want you to take initiative. So we'll give you some examples. So the first thing we're going to talk about are examples that we have here at Sewickley Academy at the school so that you can take opportunities. One of the things that we want to really focus on is how to fulfill these requirements without even leaving Sewickley Academy. So how can you do this globally, not necessarily going on a trip and fulfilling the global action requirements overseas, but doing it here in Pittsburgh. So there are a lot of clubs here at the Academy that you can participate in that are globally minded. So one of those clubs, for example, is Girl Up. And the mission of Girl Up is to support in empowering girls with the opportunities and rights to a healthy, safe education and to be positioned to be the next generation of leaders. So the two requirements that we're looking for is it action-oriented, yes, and is it hands-on with global connections? And the answer to both of those is yes. So this, being an active member of this club, would definitely put you in a position of meeting the points for service for global action. Key Club. The Key Club provides its members with opportunities to provide meaningful service, develop leadership, and create passion towards the betterment of society. One of the main things that the Key Club does here at Sewickley Academy is to run the blood drives. Most of the blood donations go to people in the region of Pittsburgh, and most of the awareness and the blood donations are here right in this region. So it is very action-oriented. It's very important, but there is a global link missing. So there's potential here to focus globally, but most of the blood donations go right here to Pittsburgh, and so this is more of a local, there's more of a local focus to this project. So this is missing that global link. There are a lot of other existing clubs with strong global action potential. The Tanzania Club works with the Sewickley community about the educational issues in Margola Juu, Tanzania, as well as the country as a whole. This started actually by two students that right before their senior year went to visit Tanzania, and when they came back started this Tanzania Club because they were motivated by some of the schools that they had visited and children that they had seen that did not have good educational opportunities. So they came back and they were motivated and inspired, and they took initiative to start this club. So they're working to create educational opportunities for students in Tanzania. So they started a club, and that's one of the things towards the end of this section that I'll talk about, that you have the opportunity in the senior school to start clubs, and that's something that you can do. Another existing club with strong global action potential at Sewickley Academy is the Gay Straight Alliance. The GSA aims to provide a safe space and awareness for Sewickley Academy's LGBTQIA community and their allies. The global action potential here is that the LGBTQIA community is not just at Sewickley Academy or in the United States, but this is a worldwide community, and there's a lot of potential to raise awareness about the issues related to this community at a global level. Other existing clubs, Tesla for Teens, another example. They raise environmental awareness about pollution that our engines cause and promote the idea of electric cars for the future. So they're looking at alternative energy, and they have gone down to the lower school to talk to lower school students about this idea. Again, this definitely has the potential for looking globally and looking at the way that these things affect other countries, or the way other countries are looking at these ideas, and what kinds of alternative energy do other countries use? Are they invested in electric cars? Are there other nations that are doing this? So there's ways that you could tap into this club and maybe go to the students who have already done these presentations and say, I'm interested in maybe bringing a global perspective to this, and I'd like to become more involved. So if this is something that interests you, you could expand it a little bit. And you could also start your own club. So taking an idea that is maybe based on an article you read in class, or a trip that you took, or just something that's personally important to you, and making it action-oriented and hands-on with global connections. So these are all ideas that you can do just without leaving the school. So these are all things that you can do at the academy. Okay, another example of starting your own club, an idea, there's an online organization called Connecting Seniors Around the World. So this would be senior citizens who across the are part of this digital divide, who don't necessarily know how to connect across the internet and maybe want to connect. So there's an organization, there's a link there. If you're interested in doing that, that's something that you could look more into. Okay, something that we want to talk to you about as well, excuse me, is digital service learning. So this is a new idea. It's something that would allow you to basically to complete some of your hours from your computer or mobile device. So one organization that would give us this opportunity to complete service hours online is an organization called iEarn. This is the International Education and Resource Network. And what they do, I actually went to the conference. I'm somewhere in this picture here. This is in Doha, Qatar, in the summer of 2013. This is at the Doha Convention Center. iEarn is an organization with over 2 million participants that connects schools and students and teachers from all over the world. So this organization is more or less online, though once every year or every 2 years, there is a large conference that is held in different cities around the world where participants can come and meet each other after working on projects. But for the most part, it's an online community where students, classrooms, teachers can work on projects together. But what often happens is that the schools are looking for a partner to complete a project, and they're having trouble finding a partner. And a school might want to compare data, but they can't find a partner school to compare data with. So you might be able to provide the data to compare, to help that school out. When I was in Qatar, what I found was that a lot of these teachers that I spoke to, especially in developing countries, what they said to me was, I could not do my job without iEarn. Now, we're very fortunate that we have a lot of resources. We pretty much can get our hands on anything that we need. But for a lot of these teachers in Iraq, one teacher in particular that I spoke to, she has an internet connection, and so that basically gives her access to a lot of resources that she would not otherwise have. And when she was introduced, she hated teaching, and when she was introduced to iEarn, it really opened things up for her, and she was able to connect to students and teachers, and her students got to interact with other students from around the world, and it made a huge difference. So you also can be a part of that. Some of the projects that they do, there are projects aimed at students ages 3 to 7. This one would be in Spanish, but also about science, about liquid, light, and color. What does that have to do with you? Well, you could go down to the pre-K and help the pre-K or the after school. I know that the after school program is really interested in doing something like this. They just need some help to get it going. So that would be something that you could organize. There's a project called Our Rivers, Our World, where there are schools and classrooms looking to do hands-on water analysis. And again, you could collect data about water here in Pittsburgh and compare it with water from other countries around the world. Solar cooking projects, looking at constructing alternative energy testing and using solar cookers, and working with other schools on doing projects such as that. And just remember, there are real people behind these projects. You can see a couple kids from Sewickley Academy in this picture who met some girls in Iran at the Qatar conference. So there are opportunities where you could possibly meet the kids that you're working with. And one additional thought is that your global advisory might decide to work together and do a project with another school as a global advisory. One other online opportunity that you could look to is the Rukmini Foundation, which is a Pittsburgh organization. They came and spoke to you on the International Day of the Girl, and Rukmini Foundation is looking for high school students, middle school students to write and be pen pals to some of their students in Nepal. So that's another opportunity that you can do from school or from home and receive service hours for Global Action. There are also community opportunities that you can take by either working with the community partners and doing projects here at school, or going out into the community to work on those projects. One organization is Global Links, and they are located in Greentree. What Global Links does is they collect products and goods from hospitals in the Pittsburgh area that would otherwise be thrown in landfills, and they take those things and bring them to clinics in developing countries in Latin America so that they can be repurposed, and they don't wind up in landfills, and they wind up saving lives. So here you see some of our Sewickley Academy students working at Global Links on the day of service, and some of the things that we talked about when we went there that day are some opportunities that students can do here as part of Global Action. And a couple of those ideas are their baby bag project, which is an ongoing project at Global Links. And what they do is collect small items that women will come to their clinics for prenatal care. A lot of women are reluctant to go for prenatal care because it could cost them a day's wages. So in order to make it worth their while, Global Links has begun putting together bags and kits of goods for women that will help them take care of the baby, so it becomes worth their while to take a day from work and go to the clinic for the prenatal care, which improves infant survival rates. And what can be done is to collect the items for the baby bags and then put them together. And we're looking to start that here at Sewickley Academy. While we were there, they were also looking for some students to put together a new video for them. So that was something that some students are starting to look into as well. So there are a number of community organizations that need help, but don't necessarily need us to go to their location. There are things that we can do here at the Academy, and community service hours and Global Action can be done on campus or after school or at home and on the weekend. And the final thing that we want to talk to you about are student-initiated global action projects. One example was last year in the spring of 2013. We had a student, Sarah Rooney, that put together a conference, the Students Against Slavery Conference. This was a conference on human trafficking, and we wanted to walk you through a little bit of how she came to put this conference together. This was completely initiated by her. So Sarah joined the Students Against Slavery as a freshman and became interested in the topic of human trafficking. By the time she was a junior, she became president of the student club and began working to spread awareness within the Sewickley Academy community. She started reaching out to learn more about it and make connections, and as a senior she attended a conference at Heinz Field that had booths from local and national organizations that were working to stop human trafficking in our country. At the conference, she was able to make contacts with people from nonprofits, the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and in doing that, she was able to share her passion with other people who were passionate about it, and then she was able to start connecting and figure out ways that she could share that with other high school students. So as her senior project, Sarah decided that she wanted to create this human trafficking conference and invite students from the area. So she arranged a meeting with Dr. Cassie, Matt Trosson of the FBI, and a number of other people, including our Buildings and Grounds, Mr. Hastings, to create a student conference on human trafficking. She used her contacts from current families, alumni, friends from other schools, and started inviting people to attend and support the event. And so from all of these contacts in her initiative, which just started with her interest and a club here at school, which is what we started this presentation with, Sarah wrapped up her global studies experience and her senior project with this global action. So what will your global action be? What we want to do is sort of walk you through how do you decide what to do. You start with something very small, joining a club, putting a few hours in and taking some small steps. But how do you decide what to do? You want to think about, where do you like to work? Where do you want to be? Do you like working in a warehouse? Do you like working at a desk? Do you like working outside? Do you have any other ideas about where you might want to be? How do you want to work? Do you want to work with other people? Do you like working by yourself? What kinds of things do you like to do? And then what kinds of things do you want to do? So do you want to be doing work on a computer, helping people with disabilities or people, the elderly? Do you want to work actually doing physical labor or hands in the dirt, working with animals or children, doing environmental work, medical assistance, or filing papers? So there are all sorts of different things that you can do, and then you want to start thinking about, how can these things be global, and what things are in our community in Pittsburgh that are going on that are connected globally. And this is where we can help you to make those connections. So I hope that this gives you a little bit of an idea of how to fulfill the global action requirement. And we are here to help you, your global advisors and the global action team. And I wish you lots of luck.